Welcome to the Sage Garden Project Learning at Home Lessons. For today's project, this is what you will need: your Cookrow journal, a piece of white paper, 2 or 3 reusable cups, some gathered dirt or soil from your garden, a few leaves or twigs that you're going to turn into brushes, and some newspaper or old fabric or some tarp to lay down on your work area, just so that we don't make too big of a mess. Hi, it's Chef Carol, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint with mud. I am at the farm and I have collected some wonderful things to paint with mud with. But the first thing we need is to make sure we have all our materials. So I have some water, I have a piece of paper. I'm using an old piece of paper to begin with because I'm going to experiment before I make my final product. I have a little twig that I'm going to use to stir, and I have some really pretty flowers that I collected on the farm. I've got a nasturtium leaf. I think these are bougainvillea flowers. I have some buttercups. What I was looking for is lots of color. I even have some really beautiful little blossoms from the arugula. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you can see I've laid a piece of paper down to put my work paper on top so I don't make a mess. I would hate for the water to spill or the mud to get all over something. So I have collected some dirt. Another name for dirt would be earth. But I want to show you some dirt that's not great dirt for mixing. I'm going to put some on the paper here, and you can see it's got way too many twigs in there, lots of little tiny stones, and the color is kind of light. But of course you could experiment with it and see what happens on your own. So I'm going to put that back. But here I have some nice dark dirt, and this is perfect for making mud paint. So I'm going to take, you can see I just have a tiny little bit in my cup. Now I'm going to start to add some water, but I'm going to add it really slowly. I'm going to play around with how thick or how thin it is. That's called the consistency. I feel like I'm making brownies. So I'm going to mix it up, and you know what? I think this is absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put a little bit on the center of my experiential paper. First I'm going to take my finger. I'm going to dip it in. Oh, cool. I bet you I could make little flowers like this. Super cool. What if I were to make a paintbrush out of the nasturtium flower petal? I'm going to take this, pull off the little stem. Whoops, that's okay. I'm going to wrap it around the twig like this. And now I'm going to dip my paintbrush into my mud. There it goes. And I'm going to try painting big swirls like this. Well, that's kind of cool. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'd like the consistency to be a little bit thinner. Give it a stir. I just had an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit onto my paper. I wonder what happens if I lift up my paper and I let it roll a little bit. Cool. What if I blow it? What if I were to take some of these really beautiful flowers and put them inside the mud and stir them up? Make some yellow, some green, and some of this beautiful bright red in here. I'm going to give it a stir. I think I'm going to add a little bit more dirt because I think my consistency is now too thin. It's super fun to experiment with the consistency. And of course, you're going to find your own ideas for painting with mud also. I'm going to put a bit more out. Careful it doesn't spill on me. I'm going to roll again. And remember how I painted with my finger? You also could paint with your toes. That would be so much fun to squish your toes in the mud. So I hope you have fun experimenting. These were just my ideas. I know that you're going to have your other really great ideas to paint with mud.